Donald Trump is back, my friend. Check this out.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
From Fox News, Trump mocks comparisons of Biden to Jimmy Carter. The current president is worse.
Yep.
This is actually really good. Trump won't stop emailing me. I don't know about you guys.
He loves you.
I haven't heard from him.
I got like 4 emails from Trump
I
yesterday.
gotta sign up for this.
I'm like, Trump, what are you doing? And one of them was like, I went golfing today. And I was like, that's fantastic. I don't need this. But I sent an email and he was like, he basically said, stop comparing Biden to Jimmy Carter. Well, he said, well, Jimmy Carter failed in the face of many crises. Joe Biden is making the crises. And I'm like,
he's not wrong.
it's actually a good point. Joe Biden's policies are resulting in a lot of these things. Let me show you some of this, what he said. Quote, I see that everybody is comparing Joe Biden to Jimmy Carter. It would seem to me that is very unfair to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy mishandled crisis after crisis, but Biden has created crisis after crisis. First, there was the Biden border crisis that he refuses to call a crisis, then the Biden economic crisis, then the Biden Israel crisis, and now the Biden gas crisis. And those are all policies. Those are all the positions of the Biden administration. Joe Biden has had the worst start of any president in U.S. history, and someday they will compare future disasters to the Biden administration. But no, Jimmy was better, he added. Republicans have said the crisis at the border is a direct result of Biden's reversal of Trump-era migration policies. The Biden admin has in turn said the problem is rooted in Trump's strict immigration policies and human rights abuses. You know what's funny about that? Bro, Trump's not president anymore. The buck stops with you. When bad things were happening with war, people were like, yo, but Trump inherited those wars. And I was like, Trump's president. The buck stops with the president. I'm not going to pretend, I get it. Obama inherited the war from Bush. Obama still did messed up stuff. Trump inherited the war from Obama. Trump didn't create more wars. Trump withdrew a lot of the troops. Those are good things. Trump still did some messed up stuff. 8-year-old American girl was killed in a commando raid almost immediately when Trump got elected. But man, now they're playing this game where when Trump got in and the economy was booming, 2019, best numbers of our lives, they were like, no, it's not Trump. It's not Trump. Obama created this economy. And now the economy is really bad. It's Trump's fault.
Well, I think the economy was in a bubble when Trump came in. There was just a mass printing raid. Since 2008, really, we've just seen the money increase. And
it was the last year of Trump where really
before it exploded, and now it's still expanding. It's just bubbling super fast.
Unemployment was very low. GDP was very high. Stock market was very high. People had jobs. Low end wages were going up. Yep. And this was 2019. This was before COVID. This was before the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. It was long enough into Trump's presidency that you couldn't give all the credit to Obama. It was 3 years in. It was clear that Trump crafted an economy that worked for the market and worked for the lowest wage earners in America.
But Trump mishandled COVID, the crisis, politically. He didn't mishandle it in terms of the general approach to how you would handle a pandemic, simply because we don't have a control country by which we could measure what would have been good or bad. It was a novel virus. Trump took action. I thought it was good. But politically, Democrats and Republicans were all printing money like crazy. Democrats and Republicans are the ones who created this unemployment stimulus thing. And you had some like Thomas, I think it was Thomas Massey, right?
Yeah.
Who was like, don't give people money not to work.
Oh, yeah.
But Republicans and Democrats, where was Trump? Trump was very supportive of a lot of this stuff. Trump was very much like, print more money, give the people more money.
Yeah.
And now the bill comes due. However, I'm not going to fault Trump for a pandemic and an emergency. The problem is, what was happening was across the board. Democrats and Republicans, Trump, everybody was like, I don't know what we're doing. The governors were like, Cuomo was like, maybe I just kill 15,000 people. And so Trump could have done politically a lot better. And the reason I say this, Trump should have fired a lot of people. He shouldn't have fired some people. He should have been stricter with some people. And so I feel like when the pandemic hit and you saw the violation of constitutional rights, the federal government could have intervened, but Trump didn't do a lot of these things. He didn't shut down the riots. The riots are still happening, right? So a lot of the stuff we are seeing some of it does come from Trump. However, Joe Biden has been president now for just about 4 months. He has enacted tons of policies, and the major problems we're seeing are a direct result of Democrat pushes, some with Republicans, but the border policies, the conflict in the Middle East, economic crisis, gas shortages. Where's the FBI been? Why this cyber attack on Colonial?
FBI is too busy tracking down grandmas
That's
who
great.
took a tour through the Capitol
right.
on the wrong day.
That is Biden's administration, who
Indeed
is
it is.
prioritizing going after bumbling dotards who walked in. And I mean it. Look, I get it. The people who stormed in and were like bashing cops, yes, arrest those people. But they're actually going after, like, they got one guy and it's like the door was open and he was confused and he walked in. They're like, and now you go to prison. That's what they're focusing on. And our gas pipelines are being just shut down. Great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
As if this gas pipeline shutdown is going to be an isolated event.
No, expect the worst. Hope for the best. Expect the worst if you want to survive.
It is a plausible promise that has been confirmed that will feed a decentralized open source activity in this manner. That it's clear now that you can independently attack a what'd you say?
What? I didn't say anything.
You independently attack a pipeline, shut it down, cause this kind of disruption. It's going to inspire other people to do the same thing.
Yesterday they said people were drilling into the pipelines. Like eco-terrorists were going up to the pipelines, like drilling a hole in it
Yeah.
somewhere along the chain.
That's what we like. There was speculation about that.
Oh.
It's
Yeah, we
been
don't know for
happening,
sure.
I guess.
I was jokingly whispering Bitcoin. That was the joke.
Bitcoin.
I didn't say buy Bitcoin. I just said Bitcoin. I'm not giving any financial advice.
Noik Tib. That's Bitcoin backwards.
That's really
That was a
bizarre
Noik
and weird.
Noik
Please
tip.
stop with that.
Bitcoin.
Well, I want to talk about the Israeli thing a
Yes.
little bit because I don't think it's Biden's fault. That's been going on for 100 years almost.
No,
and it is
it's his
sad
fault.
and terrifying. Did you guys see the video of the rockets flying into Tel Aviv?
Iron Dome, man.
An Iron Dome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to pretend like Biden takes full responsibility for a conflict that's been going on for a long time, but a lack of leadership. First, we can just say Biden does not have the mental ability to lead at a crisis right now for what's going on. More importantly, you can look to people like Ben Shapiro who point out that Joe Biden started funding a bunch of these Palestinian groups, and then all of a sudden we get a missile barrage a few months in.
Oh, I think the idea here is that Trump was very clear in his support for Israel. It was very clear that they were working hard to secure Israel, and it was very clear that they were going to support Israel in doing anything that they had to do to defend themselves. And now that he is gone, there is weakness in the White House at best. At worst, there is a collaborator in the White House, if you're from the Israeli perspective. And so they have now been inspired to begin hostilities again because the sort of the threat matrix is out of balance where it was in balance when Trump was there.
And look, I understand there's a big conflict. I understand people are like, you don't know what you're talking about as soon as you criticize anything. When I watch videos of rocket fires, which are random and are hitting buses and schools, civilian targets, and then Israel does surgical strikes on select targets, which sometimes is civilian targets because Hamas and these groups are using them. It's a big difference. I understand, and I hear from the left or the pro-Palestinian side saying they have a right to defend themselves, and I'm like, I don't know if that extends to like blowing up a school. And they say the same thing about Israel. I'm like, maybe you need to stop the people from going into schools and using them as missile bases. I don't know. But I'll put it this way. Okay, all right, I'll step back. I don't know the depth of this conflict. There's a lot of people much better versed in it than I.
It goes back to like the Crusades. I mean, it was like a port, a trade port. Yeah,
Further than
1000
that,
AD.
Bible
Probably
times.
even before that. But it now there's the Suez Canal, so it kind of protects the canal, which is the shipping line of the world, basically.
It's Biden's fault, man. Look, the end of the Trump administration was the Abraham Accords,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you had a bunch of Arab nations
8
signing
months ago.
peace deals with Israel. And that was huge. And there was a lot of speculation that this would put pressure on these extremist groups that are firing rockets into Israel to stop, because once they do, things can start to normalize. That was the hope, I suppose. But there's a lot of people who are like, it doesn't matter because Israel is settler colonialism and they should be, removed or whatever. And so I actually see these memes from many of these leftists saying Israel should be removed outright because they're colonists. And they're straight up saying the people in Israel shouldn't get say in it at all. And I'm like, come on. I understand there's a conflict. I understand you think your side is right. But how do we resolve this by saying one side must be purged from the land? That's insane.
It can't be. You could go, if I could go back 150 years and say maybe we should build Israel in a different place, because they were originally going to do it in Northeast Africa. And then I think it was the Balfour Declaration. They said they were going to, well, basically what happened was World War I. The Arabs were on the side of the Ottomans, and
Well, I'm sorry, man.
Well, check this out
I
really
understand,
quick.
but
The
I
British and the
don't
French-
I don't want to get into this. I don't think anyone here has enough knowledge on the Israel-Palestinian conflict. The
This
issue
is a little brief.
is Joe Biden and his ability to lead, and the Middle and foreign policy, not the history of Israel and why one side is right or one side is wrong.
My point is, I don't think that removing one side is the way. I agree with you. It's what it is. There's a bunch of people living there now.
And so I don't know what the solution is. I can tell you that under Trump, he seemed to be getting a hold on a lot of the conflict in the Middle East. And they hated him for it. You know why? Well, in my opinion, the military-industrial complex types, these big weapons manufacturers, and the neocons, which are now the Democrats, needed conflict in the Middle East to justify expansion and occupation. Not in Israel, in Afghanistan, Iraq. They want to go after Iran. John Bolton was like, we're going to celebrate next year in Tehran. And everyone's like, yay! And that was Trump who brought that guy in. They want that. But how do you justify occupation in the Middle East when there's peace? Well, that was bad. Trump bringing peace to these countries. Oh, no. Now, how are we going to tell the American people that we got to send more weapons over there?
It wasn't peace in the West Bank when the Israelis signed declarations with UAE and
remember when Donald Trump said they were going to move the embassy to Jerusalem and they were like, it's going to be the end. It's going to be the apocalypse. And nothing happened.
Because the Palestinians are like, Jerusalem is our holy city. So to move the Israeli American embassy to the Israeli version of it was
the point
like
is
insulting. I don't know.
The Democrats are the neocons.
Yeah.
The neocons moved to the Democratic Party. Now we got, what's the story? 100 Republicans are like, we're going to quit the GOP because of Trump. And it's like, okay, go join the Democrats and be pro-war.
Please do.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. And they want war. Joe Biden wants war. Like we get news reports as soon as Joe Biden's in that movement into Syria, soldiers are moving through, northeastern Syria. And I think they want the conflict. And I think what's happening with Israel is good for them because they can justify why we should have war in the Middle East. And it's for a lot of reasons. It's for energy expansion. It's for control of the region. But you need the American people to support it. So this conflict between Israel and Palestine is great for Democrats. Joe Biden, what did he come out and say just recently? Israel has a right to defend itself.
Yeah, it's weird because
Now we're going to send more money to them, our ally, and we're going to have more conflict, which allows us to say, we got to send more missiles over there and occupy the areas.
Like if you stick a person in a bear cage with 100 hungry bears and then you're like, that human needs to defend himself. Well, yeah, you didn't need to put him in the bear cage, but you did. And you're right. If you want him to survive, he needs to defend himself. That's kind of the situation of Israel right now.
Well, I'm just saying that the conflict is good for those who want to sell weapons.
Exactly.
And have us energy dependent on another region.
That's right.
Right. So like the Keystone shutdown, not really aggressively defending this pipeline attack, possibly shutting down another pipeline in Michigan. All these things are disrupting our energy supplies. We need oil. Where can we get it? We don't have it here. So I guess we got to go get it in.
We could try blowing up kids in the Middle East.
Oh, that's a good
I hear
idea.
that's a policy of the Democrats.
So wait a second. We can sell missiles, blow up kids, and get expensive money. Perfect. I'm in.
And Donald Trump is like, Americans should have jobs. Right. And the Democrats are like, can we blow up kids? Now, here's one of the problems with Trump is that, first of all, why Bolton? Who gave him that advice? That was the stupidest thing. It's like, I'm going to hire this moron.
Because he saw him on TV a lot.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. Yeah.
Yep. Fox News. And the other problem is when he was pressured into the military actions, he was pressured into. Look, Trump is an arrogant guy. He's full of himself. He knows what he wants. But when it came to things he wasn't an expert on, he deferred to people who are stupid. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, I guess I'll fire missiles. And the news media loved it. They were like, Trump is presidential now, bombing children.
I remember that day very vividly because I also then went down to the White House to cover a alt-right Richard Spencer, Jason Kessler-led protest against Trump that day because of the Syrian missile strikes. And then Antifa showed up. I ended up in the middle between these two parties fighting. I'm standing there taking pictures. Someone else took a picture of me taking pictures of Spencer and Kessler and then posted that later saying that I was a Nazi. Yeah. But I remember that very clearly. But also Trump deferred on COVID as well.
That's right.
And yet, the media, of course.
The Fauci of all people.
They weren't really pleased about that. But I thought actually in that case that he deferred to the experts as well as anybody could have, deferred to the federalist system, deferred to the states.
He shouldn't have. When it came to the quote-unquote experts, Dr. Fauci.
Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You don't know anything about this, and you got a guy that everybody's saying is
fire them all.
And then what? Find other experts?
Yep.
I mean, it sounds sounds that easy, dude.
No, I understand it's not as easy, especially when they were obstructing. They wouldn't confirm a lot of his cabinet position. They wouldn't confirm a lot of people for his cabinet. But Trump should have just went. I guess he thought he was going to win another term, and so that was the goal. Play it. Moderate.
Or maybe he thought he was helping the American people and that was the right thing to do.
No. I mean, sure. But he also, why didn't he just go and fire Fauci? Why didn't he send in the troops? Re-election. You can only do so much in your first term. Your second term, you get more leeway because this is it. Do what you got to do. But Trump was aiming for the win. I mean, he got 10 million more votes second time around. But you know what I refer to the Biden voters as? It was a political drive-by. Mm-hmm. These people don't care about politics at all. Mm-mm. The people I know who voted for Biden, they're gone. They're posting pictures of the bread they made. They voted for this guy. They come in and they're like, Donald Trump is a fascist and we got to vote for Joe Biden. And then they do. Now they're gone. They don't watch CNN. They don't watch MSNBC anymore. They're gone. And I'm sitting here and we're sitting here like, well, the world's on fire. Where are they at now to take responsibility for what they just did? Gone.
None. No responsibility. And of course, when they'll filter it through their mental model of the world, they won't make any connection to any of their behavior, their voting, their supporting of these policies that leads to all these terrible outcomes.
And now we're all left here holding the bag.
And hey, but good news. There's just 3 years and 8 months left.
Oh my gosh, Jack.
Yeah, I hear Trump is considering running again 4 years from now.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? I hate that it is like a reality show, this whole political circus, where it's like, 2 years out, there's going to be nonstop media coverage about who's running for office again. And like, is that really what the human race cares about? Are you kidding? There's so much technology and advancements that we can make on our own.
Because
rather than reality TV.
Look, the Democrats want to burn the system to the ground. They want to extract what they can while they can. And so they have very limited power right now. They have the Senate by a tiebreaker vote. That's it. They have, 11 seats in Congress. And they don't have the Supreme Court except by exertion of media pressure. And they have the president who's just not all with it. And they're like, can we just squeeze the last little bit of, it's like you got extra virgin olive oil. This is like the opposite of that. It's
you don't think that they're setting themselves in their mind? You don't think that they've thought that they've won the last contested election, that the demographics are going to give them all the government for forever? Nope. They're going to bring in 30 million new voters, and they're settling in. This is the new Democratic empire.
Way.
You
if
think
if that were true, Joe Biden wouldn't have fired off 63 or 53 memorandums and executive orders. That was a panic. That was him being like, just sign it before it's too late. Yeah, because the political drive-by. The people who can, that's why I'm saying I don't think Trump should run in 2024. I think DeSantis should. Yeah, they'll smear DeSantis. They'll smear any Republican who runs. But Trump is a ball of fire that they need to trigger the politically uninitiated. DeSantis comes out. Could you imagine someone going like their grandma and being like, this DeSantis guy's a Nazi? She'll go, who? But Trump. I know Trump from The Apprentice. Yeah, he said all those nasty things. Oh, no. They know who Trump is. They came out, they hated the guy. DeSantis are going to be like, I don't know.
But that's so weird because everybody loved Trump until the day he decided to run for office.
Trump?
Oprah, Jesse Jackson, all those guys loved him. Pictures, come on my show, put my arms around you. I love you. Donald Trump's my boy.
And he was too big. And a lot of what he did helped him. A lot of what he did hurt him. But it's created this permanent ball of fire.
Yeah.
If Trump came back, CNN would start crying, praising the Lord. I thought we were going to have to lay everyone off. Thank God Trump is back. If it's DeSantis, they're going to be like, DeSantis is bad. And people are going to be like, I don't know who that is. I don't care.
Where are they going to? They're going to have to go beyond Hitler. Right? Like
Mecca Hitler.
DeSantis isn't just Hitler. He's Trump.
Whoa. He's Trump.
That's got to be the new highest level smear, right?
I guess.
If you've already called someone Hitler.
Look, I'm not concerned right now about where we're at in 2022 or 2024.
No.
It may be the case that Democrats are, they're digging a little dirt hole to sit in like a little chicken or something. They're going to get ready for their dirt bath.
You and your chickens.
That's right. The chickens.
They're getting really big. I
watching
noticed.
them earlier.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was just sitting out there watching them. They're huge.
Look, you look at this story with like Liz Cheney, and the political world is completely irrelevant right now when we're dealing with all these crises. Now, I shouldn't say completely. Obviously, these things will have ramifications moving forward into the political space. But what do people really care about? Stinkbug gotcha. He's on your arm.
Jack
us
got
out.
stink bugged.
Here we go. Well, don't throw them at me.
Bug.
I eat it.
Throwing bugs at
The
Tim.
chickens love them. They're like, they fight over them.
Oh, yeah.
And they will
play
pick them
chicken
up
rugby?
and pull them from each other's mouths. Imagine being the stink bug and being picked up by a chicken. They're all just like ripping your limbs up. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.